All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, look, I just filmed the video, but I forgot to switch the mic setting on the computer, so the audio is going to sound. It's not going to sound good. It's going to sound like metal or like tinny almost. So, if you guys can stick with it, I appreciate it. If not, that's totally cool. My mistake. So, I'll leave it there. Enjoy. All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, look, in this one, I wanted to talk about a couple players that are currently on the Jets roster, guys that I feel like have a really good chance next season of coming onto the scene, right? Emerging, potential breakout years. Guys that I all feel like will benefit from the new regime coming in the building. Obviously, we have Robert Saleh's 4-3 under defense that's going to be implemented. And then, of course, on offense, we have the Mike LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, West Coast variation as well. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So the first player on the list, former third overall pick back in 2019, defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, right? You're looking at what Quinnen Williams has done throughout his short NFL career so far, and it's really a night and day difference between year one and year two, right? His rookie season, let's be honest, it wasn't the best. Yes, he would flash, he would make a play here, he would make a play there, but the consistency wasn't there. He struggled to really get into the lineup a lot. Like, we had a lot of rotational pieces on the defensive line under Greg Williams that season, and it was almost looked like Quinnen had the speed and he had the power, but the game was just a little bit too fast for him at that point in time. But then this season rolls around, we trade away Steve McClendon, Quinnen Williams' role gets increased, right? He has more responsibility, and this dude took off. He took off, right? Especially down like in the middle of the season to the tail end of the season. He really put together a nice stretch of games, lining all across the defensive line, zero tech, like nose tackle, like he was doing a lot, right? So now you're looking at Robert Saleh, who's going to be coming in and essentially adding a brand new front, right? A 4-3, and typically in the 4-3, you have your defensive ends take care of the tackles, right? You send those guys off, and then you have your two defensive tackles to work with three offensive linemen. Typically, one defensive tackle will take on two, which then sets up the other defensive tackle for a one-on-one matchup, right? So that's kind of just the base thinking with the defense, not getting too intricate, not, obviously running any stunts or anything like that. That's just kind of the base philosophy. So we've seen this done before. We've seen a fast, powerful, talented defensive tackle that plays predominantly in a 3-4 defense, right? Because Quinnen played in a 3-4 at Bama. Now everybody loves him because of his versatility. He can line up all across the defense. He can play in multiple schemes, but he played in a 3-4 at Bama. And then he ends up in New York. Same deal, 3-4 defense. And you know what? This reminds me so much of an ex-Jet, and you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Leonard Williams. It's like the Leonard Williams story all over again. Leonard Williams was the fastest, strongest, most talented player on the USC defensive line playing in a 3-4 defense, and his talent really allowed him to shine at the collegiate ranks. Comes to the NFL, and the game is too fast. It's too complicated. Playing in a 3-4 defense with the Jets. Williams then gets traded to the New York Giants. They bring in Patrick Graham in 2020, and Leonard Williams absolutely explodes. Why? It's not because Leonard Williams hit a growth spurt. It's not because he just found his knack. It's because of the system change. Patrick Graham, a guy who's known at looking at defensive players, looking at their strengths and weaknesses, and saying, we're going to put you in a position to have success. Even though you've been playing in a 3-4 your entire life, I feel like you're going to be really good in a 4-3 as a defensive tackle. He has 11.5 sacks. 2019 with the New York Jets, half a sack. 1 year difference. He adds 11 more to that number. Absolutely insane. I'm not saying Quinnen Williams is Leonard Williams or anything like that. I'm not saying, I demand 12 sacks next season. Nothing crazy. But I do see a huge jump as far as production is concerned. And another point that you have to bring up when you're talking about Quinnen Williams as far as projecting success with Robert Saleh, of course, is the fact that he was the third overall pick back in 2019. Third overall. Who had the second overall pick in that draft? It was the 49ers. It was Robert Saleh. They obviously went with Nick Bosa, and people think that it was Nick Bosa from the get-go. They already turned in the card. They already made up their mind. But, you're looking at that defensive line, DeForest Buckner, Solomon Thomas, Eric Armstead. That defensive line was absolutely stacked. And Robert Saleh and the 49ers staff, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, they spent a lot of time considering Quinnen with that second overall pick. So Robert has done his homework on Quinnen Williams. Like, you have you have so much talent on the defensive line, and you're still considering taking a guy in Quinnen Williams at spot number 2. That says something about Williams' talent level. It says something about Robert Saleh, what he sees in Quinnen as well. Now, obviously, they made the right choice. Nick Bosa's an up-and-coming superstar, but all in all, you're looking at Quinnen, where he kind of projects into the future. Really high ceiling, so strong, so fast, so much talent. The future's bright, and I cannot wait to watch him. Player number 2, former running back out of Maryland, Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson's a guy, for me personally, I felt like he really made a name for himself in the last month of the season. He was doing some really, really good things. He kind of proved to the Jets, hey, I can be your workhorse. I can be your workhorse for this last month. I mean, running behind guys like Mekhi Becton, really hitting holes with conviction, catching passes out of the backfield, with all of these different things working against him. Think about this for a second. The Jets offense was a complete joke. It was an embarrassment last year. As a defensive coordinator out there, you're thinking to yourself, okay, they're not going to throw the ball deep. Sam Darnold can't hit passes from a clean pocket. We know exactly what they want to do. They're not going to try anything creative. They're not going to try any trick plays. They don't roll Sam Darnold out. There's no bootleg action at all. They literally run the ball and throw it short. Screens, slants, curl routes. Occasionally they'll have a mesh or like a crossing pattern, but that's it. That's it. And Ty Johnson was still able to really emerge or separate himself from the pack. And then you're thinking about where Ty Johnson came from, right? He was literally signed in October. Okay, so no training camp with the Jets, no time to learn the Adam Gase offense, no preseason to really put some good stuff out there. He worked his way up, splitting carries with guys like Frank Gore, Michael Pirine, Josh Adams, Le'Veon Bell obviously was before that, and same with Kalen Ballage. And now that I'm thinking about it, the Jets actually had a ton of running backs last year, but Ty Johnson had all of these different things working against him. Bad quarterback play. Adam Gase is your head coach. Minimal talent on offense. Virtually no threats at wide receiver. Everybody knows they want to run the ball. No preseason. No training camp. All of these different things going against Ty Johnson, and he was still able to kind of make that positive push and get out there on the field and have some solid plays, have some solid games. So I'm not saying Ty Johnson is Kamara or Christian McCaffrey or Zeke Elliott or anything like that, but when I'm looking at the offensive system that's going to be put in place with Mike LaFleur, this is a West Coast system that's built off the running game. The running game is huge. Think about all these 49ers running backs that just, have success in some sort of capacity under Kyle Shanahan. Jeff Wilson, Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, like San Francisco knows exactly what to do with that position. They really do a nice job of maximizing what they have there, and I feel like it doesn't matter who they're really playing at that spot, they're going to have success. They do some really good things in the run game. And of course, Kyle Shanahan isn't coming over to the Jets. Neither is Mike McDaniel, the architect behind that running game. But still, Mike LaFleur, Robert Saleh, they're both coming over from San Francisco. I feel like they know the system inside and out. Kyle Shanahan was actually quoted on saying that Mike LaFleur can run the system, right? He knows it really, really well. So even if Johnson isn't the true workhorse number 1 back, I still see Johnson contributing in one way or another, even if he's the third down back or the third down guy. So going to be interesting to see what they do, how they attack that position, whether, you're talking about free agency or the draft. But all in all, I like what Johnson did this season, and it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of progresses with the training camp, with the new system, with the preseason in place to where he can really flourish as a player. And the third and final player on this list, last but definitely not least, left tackle out of Louisville, Mekhi Becton. All right, look, I don't care what PFF has to say. Mekhi Becton is a franchise left tackle. He is an absolute animal. Dominant in the run game, getting better in pass protection. Everybody's knocking him. He sucks at pass protection. He needs to get better at it. He's going to get, blown by at the NFL level. And to a certain degree, that was true. He's not great, but he was pretty damn good. For a rookie coming in at 6'7", 370 pounds, for him to be that good at pass protection this early, that says something. That says something about Becton's athleticism. It says something about his motor. I love Mekhi Becton. You're analyzing the West Coast system. What do coaches look for in the tackle position that run the West Coast? They look for enormous human beings and guys that are extremely athletic, right? Whitworth, Trent Brown, McGlinchey, Joe Staley, Trent Williams. That's the prototype. That's the prototype. Enormous human beings that are athletic. Mekhi Becton checks both of those boxes. He's going into year 2. I'm expecting a huge year from Mekhi Becton, and it's not just because I'm a fan of Becton. Of course I'm a fan of Becton. I'm a fan of every player on the Jets, but when I look at Becton, that's one of the only guys that I've looked at him and I've said to myself, you know what? If he continues this play, I really feel like he could be wearing a gold jacket at the end of his career. I don't say that much. I don't feel like I've ever really said that on this channel about a specific player, even guys that have been really, really good, like Jamal Adams and whatnot. But there's something different about Mekhi Becton. There's something different about him. I feel like he's so good. He's so underrated. He's so good, so young, so athletic, so big. I'm excited. I need to get a 77 jersey, so I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Who do you have rising to the occasion? Who do you think is going to really emerge in these new schemes that are going to be implemented? It's going to be a fun conversation, so I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for sticking with this channel. As always, go Jets.